wake up thinking you did everything right. You used your card carefully. You had the money. You paid it off in full, on time, no interest, no missed payments, no mistakes. Exactly how they told you to do it. Exactly how responsible people behave. And for a moment, you feel in control. You feel like you're winning, like you finally understand how the game works. Then, 2 days later, you open your app, and something feels off. You look again. Your score dropped. Not by 1 point, not by 2. Enough to make you stop. Enough to make you question everything. Rex looks directly at you. No late payments. No fraud. No new accounts. So what happened? Why does it feel like you played the game perfectly and still lost? Now here's the part nobody tells you. You followed every rule you were taught. But those rules don't control your score. You can do everything right and still get penalized. You didn't fail. You just followed the wrong system. From the very beginning, you were trained to respect one date, the due date. Pay before it, and you're safe. Miss it, and you're punished. So your entire financial behavior revolves around that moment. You wait. You spend. You pay. You reset. Month after month. It feels structured. It feels logical. It feels like control. But Rex slowly shakes his head. What if the date you trust the most has almost nothing to do with your score? What if the system isn't reacting to your payment, but to something else entirely? Something earlier. Something hidden. Because while you're focused on the due date, the system is already watching you, judging you, recording you, before you even think about paying. You organize your life around the due date. The system evaluates you before that. You're always reacting too late. Now imagine this. Not a live system. Not real-time updates. Not something that follows your every move. Something much simpler and much more dangerous. A camera. It doesn't watch continuously. It doesn't track your progress. It doesn't care about your intentions. It just takes one picture. Once a month. That's it. One snapshot. And whatever is inside that frame becomes your identity. Your financial reputation. Your risk level. For the entire month. Rex walks slowly through the scene. No context. No explanation. No second chance. Just a frozen moment. And here's the problem. That moment almost always happens. When you look the worst. Think about how you actually use your card. You don't spend everything in one day. You build. Day by day. Swipe by swipe. Your balance grows. Slowly. Then faster. Then suddenly. It's at its highest point. And that's usually when you stop. That's when you think, okay, now I'll pay it off. You feel responsible, in control, ahead of the game. But the system doesn't wait for that moment. It doesn't care about when you fix things. It captures you before that. At your peak. At your highest balance. At the exact moment you look most exposed. So even if you pay everything, pay on time, avoid interest, the system records you as if you're carrying that full weight. You clean everything up after spending. The system captures you before you clean it. Your report shows your worst version. Rex leans closer. This is the switch nobody shows you. There is a second date. It's not advertised. It's not explained. It's not emphasized. Because if it was, everything would change. It's called the statement closing date. This is the moment the system takes the picture. Not when you pay, not when you think it matters. This exact moment, whatever balance exists here, gets locked in, sent out, reported, and repeated across the system. Banks see it. Algorithms judge it. Your score reacts to it. Even if you fix everything the next day, it doesn't matter. The image is already captured. The story is already told. Here's what makes this so powerful. Nothing about your behavior needs to change. You don't need to earn more. You don't need to spend less. You don't need a new strategy. All of that stays the same. Same income, same purchases, same habits. But one small shift changes everything. Timing, pay after the snapshot. You look like you're carrying debt. Pay before the snapshot. You look like you're in control. Same life, completely different perception. You didn't change your reality. You changed what gets seen. Now let's talk about the EE number that actually matters. Not your income, not your savings, not your effort, your utilization. How much of your credit you are using at the exact moment the system looks. That's it. One number. And it controls nearly 1/3 of your score. Think about that. Years of behavior reduced to a single snapshot percentage. And the thresholds are unforgiving. Below 10%, you look disciplined. 10% to 30%, you look acceptable. Above 30%, you look risky. Above 50%, you look unstable. And near 100%, you look like a problem. Instantly. This is where most people get trapped. They believe, I'm earning more. I'm paying everything. I'm doing better. And technically, they are. But the system doesn't reward effort. It rewards position. At one exact moment. So you can be improving and still look like you're failing. You can be responsible and still be penalized. Because the system doesn't follow your journey. It captures your snapshot. Your financial life is improving. The snapshot doesn't reflect that your score lags behind your reality. Now here's the part that changes everything. Not complicated, not risky, not advanced. Simple. Instead of paying after the snapshot, you move earlier. A few days. That's it. Before the system looks, you reduce your balance. You control the number. You control the image. And suddenly, everything shifts. No new income, no lifestyle change, just timing. Rex stops and looks straight at you. Let me show you the real difference. Two people, same income, same card, same spending. One pays after the snapshot. One pays before. One looks risky. One looks elite. One struggles for approvals. One gets access. Same reality, different perception. And in this system, perception is everything. Here's the truth nobody explains clearly. The system isn't broken. It's just not designed to be obvious. Because if you understood it, you would stop playing blindly. You would stop reacting and start positioning yourself. And positioning changes everything. Not how much you earn, but how you are seen. Rex steps closer. You weren't wrong. You were just early or late. That's it. Not effort, not discipline, not intelligence, timing. Now you see the system. Now you see the snapshot. Now you see the gap between reality and perception. And once you see it, you can't go back. If this changed how you see credit, comment. It's not about paying. It's about timing. So people who didn't watch this won't understand. And if you want to learn how this connects to the bigger financial system, watch the next video. Because this is just one piece of the maze.